Hey everyone, welcome. We're continuing our reading of the Federalist Papers. We're continuing with James Madison and Alexander Hamilton about the Confederacy system and how it's insufficient to support the Union. They've been going in for quite some time. Let's continue. Alright. And the Duke of Bavaria, though director of another circle, obtained an appointment to enforce it. He soon appeared before the city with a corps of 10,000 troops. So the Duke of Bavaria who showed up with 10,000 deep, and finding it a fit occasion, as he had secretly intended from the beginning, to revive an antiquated claim on the pretext that his ancestors had suffered the place to be dismembered from his territory. So bringing up an old ancestral feud in order to justify what you want to do today. He took possession of it in his own name, disarmed and punished the inhabitants, and re-annexed the city to his domains. Notice this. Disarmed and punished the inhabitants. So if you let them disarm you, you're kind of just ripe for the plucking, right? It may be asked, perhaps, what has so long kept this disjointed machine from falling entirely to pieces? The answer is obvious. The weakness of most of the members, who are unwilling to expose themselves to the mercy of foreign powers. The weakness of most of the principal members, compared with the formidable powers all around them. Aha! Notice this. He's really giving you a contrast here. So the weakness of the members and their unwillingness being surrounded by more formidable powers. The vast weight of an influence which the emperor derives from his separate and hereditary dominions, and the interest he feels in preserving a system with which his family pride is connected, and which constitutes him the first prince in Europe. So he's got family pride and, wants to hold up a system that, benefited him, sees it as his ancestral right. These causes support a feeble and precarious union, whilst the repellent quality incident to the nature of sovereignty, and which time continually strengthens, prevents any form whatever founded on a proper consolidation. Nor is it to be imagined, if this obstacle could be surmounted, the neighboring powers would suffer a revolution to take place, which would give to the empire the force and preeminence to which it is entitled. Give the empire its force. If a neighboring powers would suffer a revolution. Notice that, using revolutions as it's a destabling. I mean, you're changing. For the people who are fighting for the revolution, depending on if they view themselves as the good or the bad, and how others view them, it all depends, right? But that being able to give you some eminence and be utilized. Foreign nations have long considered themselves as interested in the changes made by events in this Constitution, and have on various occasions betrayed their policy of perpetuating its anarchy and weakness. Perpetuating anarchy. Who's doing that now? If more direct examples were wanting, Poland, as a government over local sovereigns, might not improperly be taken notice of, nor could any proof more striking be given of the calamities flowing from such institutions. Calamities flowing from institutions, right? What are they producing? Equally unfit for self-government and self-defense, it has long been at the mercy of its powerful neighbors, who have lately had the mercy to disburden it of 1/3 of its people and territories. Just wow. Disburden, he says, right? The connection among the Swiss cantons, scarcely amounts to a confederacy, though it is sometimes cited as an instance of the stability of such institutions. They have no common treasury, no common troops even in war, no common coin, no common judiciary, no any other common mark of sovereignty. So remember, common. What does he get at here? Common. If you're in a confederacy, you can get often just two niche and specialized in your local superstitions and prejudices, right? Remember he contended that earlier? That the federal, unionized force is something where you have the global, not global, the, federal union. What binds you all together? You may have your different niches, but you should not fragment yourself and compartmentalize, forgetting that word, I'm not saying it right. Well, when you collapse and you break off into all these different brackets, there's a better way to say it. But here he's like, if you unify, you're going to have unified troops, you're going to have a unified treasury, you're going to have a unified system of monetary policy, common coin. So he's really hitting it home here for us. They are kept together by the peculiarity of their topographical position. So saying, they're only unified by the geography, not by their ideals or any type of culture. And he's made it very clear through the Greeks and the Macedonians and such how, because of that, that doesn't last very long. Because they are unable to unify to fight an outer force, and also unable to keep the peace within their walls. Get it? By their individual weakness and insignificancy, by the fear of powerful neighbors, to one which they were formerly subject, by the few sources of contention among a people of such simple and homogeneous manners, by their joint interest in the dependent possessions, by the mutual aid they stand in need of for suppressing insurrections and rebellions. The mutual aid they stand in need of for keeping insurrections down. Contending that if they're all little individual weak confederacies, they're pretty much insignificant, right? If outer power comes in. And if there's contentions among the people, that can be used to really just tear apart all bond. So notice how he keeps pointing this out. An aid expressly stipulated, and often required and afforded, and by the necessity of some regular and permanent provisions, from accommodating disputes among the cantons. The provision is that the parties at variance shall each choose 4 judges out of the neutral cantons, who in case of disagreement choose an umpire. This tribunal, under an oath of impartiality, pronounces definitive sentence, which all the cantons are bound to enforce. The competency of this regulation may be estimated by a clause in their treaty of 1683 with Victor Amas of Savoy. Okay, so Treaty of 1683, Victor Amadeus Savoy, in which he obliges himself to interpose as mediator in disputes between the cantons, and to employ force, if necessary, against the commodious party. Okay, so he's like, hey, I'll try to get you to have peace, but I'm going to use force forever who's the aggressor, he contends. So far as the peculiarity of their case will admit of comparison with that of the United States, it serves to confirm the principle intended to be established. Whatever efficacy the Union may have in ordinary cases, it appears that the moment a cause of difference sprang up capable of trying its strength, it failed. The controversies on the subject of religion, which in 3 instances have kindled violent and bloody contests, may be said, in fact, to have severed the league. Differences of religion leading to violence. The Protestant and Catholic cantons have since had their separate diets. Remember when the Protestants and Catholics were going at it? See, this is what I really like about history, is that some people will overly focus on crimes committed by other faiths, but clearly it doesn't matter if you're an atheist or you're a religious person or not. Humans will go to war with each other. There's people who fight over soccer teams, NFL teams. Come on. Where all the most important concerns are adjusted, and which have left the general diet little other business than to take care of the common villages. That separation had another consequence which merits attention. It produced opposite alliances with foreign powers. Of Berne, as the head of the Protestant Association. Okay, so that's spelled B-E-R-N-E. Almost sounds like Bernie Sanders. That sounds funny. and he's the head of the Protestant Association, with the United Provinces of Luzerne as the head of the Catholic Association with France. Publius. Wow, so they ended that. Okay, so now we're in number 20, and guess what the title is? Guess what it's been for the past essays? The same subject continues. So Alexander Hamilton and James Madison have made from, I think, 14 or 15 to number 20, really explaining how you need to preserve the Union in the United States. United States, not United Confederacies, right? No, there's one Union. Okay, number 20. The same subject continue. James Madison with Alexander Hamilton. The United Netherlands are a confederacy of republics, or rather of aristocracies of a very remarkable texture. Very remarkable texture, that's how he worded that. Yet confirming all the lessons derived from those which we have already reviewed. The Union is composed of several local and sovereign states, and each state or province is a composition of equal and independent cities. In all important cases, not only the provinces but the cities must be unanimous. Okay, the cities and provinces need to be unanimous. The sovereignty of the Union is represented by the States General, consisting usually of about 50 deputies appointed by the provinces. They hold their seats, some for life. See, no. You should never have anything for life. Term limits. Everything shouldn't be more than 8 years. 8 years.